Coding is not enough anymore. Just passing a programming course or getting a computer science degree will not help you to get a job. So if you're thinking about becoming a developer or you're currently learning how to code, this video will save you from a bunch of struggles in the future, and in the end I'll explain why the harder job search process right now is actually better for you. Hey, my name is Andrew. I'm a senior full-stack developer. On this channel I help beginners to start in IT and developers to make more. Let's begin. The IT market has changed. What was working 3 years ago is not working anymore right now. That happened because during and after COVID, the IT market received a lot of money for which it wasn't prepared. Investors were going crazy, companies were going crazy, they were hiring a lot of underqualified people. Now the market has finally stabilized, and it's a bad thing for a lot of underqualified people who came here for just a quick money. But it's actually a good thing for everyone else. And you're gonna ask me, Andrew, how it can be a good thing when getting an IT job got way harder? Firstly, harder is not equal to impossible. Secondly, coding is not enough anymore, but as soon as you're gonna figure out what is enough and make the switch, your success is almost guaranteed. Coding is not enough anymore. What exactly this clickbaity thing mean? To understand that, let me quickly explain what happened in the IT market in the last couple of years. So when the COVID has started in 2020, the IT market started to explode because everything has moved to the online world, like billions of people, and nobody in the IT market was expecting to get so many new customers to their businesses in such a short period of time. And the high demand for online services and online type of businesses, software and all of that stuff has significantly increased the amount of job openings and the need for developers. But since the demand has grown to crazy numbers in just a couple of months, the market wasn't able to satisfy this demand because there just were not enough programmers to code all of these new ideas, new software. That's why the salaries of developers started to grow like crazy. Because there were not enough developers and the need for developers was really huge, some of the companies started hiring developers just in case. For example, Google was hiring people just so Facebook cannot hire those exact people, even though the Google didn't need those people at that moment. And when the market changes so fast, usually it creates some kind of bubble. And the similar bubble has happened in the IT world in 2020 and 2021 because of the COVID and because of the new demand, huge demand for programmers. And I'm not saying that it was super easy to get the IT job in 2020 and 2021. Even at that time, if you're a complete beginner, getting a job was a challenge. But it was way easier than it's right now, and just knowing how to code, how to write basic stuff and understanding of how the programming languages are working was absolutely enough to just get a job. But right now the market has changed. Now you need to know how to work in a team with other people, how to communicate, how to explain your decisions, how to build a good architecture of your application. So by saying coding is not enough anymore, I'm not saying that it's impossible to become a developer and that there are no need for developers. No, I strongly believe that as soon as the world gonna exist, we're still gonna need developers. Of course, as technologies are developing, the ways developers are working gonna be changing. But we're always gonna need people who can create software, websites, web applications, mobile applications, desktop applications, systems that can execute a certain logic. And a couple of years ago, because of those crazy market changes due to COVID, you didn't have to actually know how to create a perfect software from zero to hero. Now, companies are looking for people who can create good software to solve their business problems. For example, previously when I wanted to create a startup, I was usually going to some kind of investor, was receiving millions of dollars in funding, and that allowed me to hire a lot of developers, a lot of managers, designers, and just glue them together, and maybe they will be able to create something that's gonna work and solve a certain problem. Now, because the market has stabilized, people are a little bit calmer in terms of hiring developers, hiring managers, designers, and all of that stuff. And if I want to build a startup, instead of hiring like 5 developers that maybe have an idea on how to create it, and now when creating startup, instead of hiring a lot of developers who can just code, and I'm only going to hire those people who can actually prove that they are capable of creating that software, and to prove that to me, they're going to have to show what they already created and how it works right now. Okay, while my friends are hating me for recording this instead of eating, let me give you this quick example. I would compare becoming a developer in 2021 versus now to a ramen. In 2021, it was enough to just boil some water, put it in a soup plate, call it a ramen, and companies were okay with that. Now you have to actually make a good ramen with some frameworks like Next.js, with some UI libraries like MUI, with really good portfolio projects, 1 to 3, if you want to become a successful developer. So, how to actually get good? We are back to the studio because this is some serious shit. Let's discuss it in the serious environment. First of all, you need to understand that it's gonna take some time. You cannot learn coding in just a couple of months and get a good high-paying job. It will take at least 6 months, ideally 6 to 12 months. Of course, if you are fully dedicated to that. If you are spending just a couple of hours a week, it's gonna take way more than that. And the framework to get actually good with coding is pretty straightforward. Firstly, start with fundamentals. Without good understanding of fundamentals, there is no point learning advanced frameworks, built-in stuff, or doing anything else. If we are talking about web development, those are things like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. While learning those technologies, you'll learn a lot about programming languages fundamentals like loops, functions, conditions, arrays, objects, and those things are quite similar across all programming languages, so if you're gonna master them here, later it will be way easier for you to learn next programming languages if you would like to make a switch. After learning fundamentals, build simple projects. Because learning theory is one thing, but applying this theory in practice is a completely different thing. After creating your very first project, it's time to learn a little bit more advanced stuff. How your programming language works behind the scenes, how to work with APIs, make network requests, some more complex asynchronous stuff, and so on and so on. Now it's time to build a project again, but using those more advanced concepts in this project. As you can see, at every step of your studies, you're learning things and then you're applying those things in practice. This is the only thing to actually get good and be able to confidently talk about those things, because if you use those things in practice in real-world project, it will be way easier for you to explain how they work. Therefore, it will be way easier to show to the interviewer that you actually know what you're talking about. Now, when you learn fundamentals and more advanced stuff and build a couple of projects with those things, it's time to build your huge, big project. But at this point, you don't know how to build something huge and big. That's why I recommend building something with an instructor. So it can be either a mentor or just like some course, or maybe just an existing project and you're just trying to build it yourself, but you have like the ready-to-go code of this project, because you cannot build something huge and complex from scratch without knowing how to do it, how to structure it, how to have good folder structure, how to properly write the logic and make this project work well. So your very first complex projects should be done not by yourself fully, but following certain instructions, because the only way people are learning is by imitating what others are doing. Like when you're just born, you didn't know how to talk, but your parents were talking to you, and that's how you learn how to talk, by imitating what they are doing. And basically every skill that you know, you're learning by imitating what someone else has done before, or someone else has taught you that. After building complex project with instructor, it's time to build complex project on your own. It will be way harder because you don't have step-by-step plan on how to do that, but you already have a lot of things and knowledge from this project that you built with instructor, so you can reuse a lot of stuff, use similar approaches, maybe even copy some of the files and some of the logic parts. And that will give you the confidence that you can actually create things. Of course, you haven't created it like 100% from scratch based on your memory, but that's okay. Nobody creates stuff from absolute scratch. Everybody reuses libraries, their previous projects, some existing stuff, and so on and so on. So that's completely okay to reuse stuff. If you were able to get the final result, fully working application, congrats, you did the job. And it's okay that you reused some stuff to achieve that. Nobody cares, because businesses mainly care about final result. And if you can deliver it, that's really good. And that's pretty much it. That's how you can actually get good. Learn fundamentals, build project, learn more advanced stuff, build project, build advanced project with instructor, and build final huge project without instructor, and boom, you actually can create stuff. And the more projects you will be building, the more things you will be creating, the better you're gonna be getting with coding, and the faster you will be able to create stuff, therefore the more money you'll be able to make. Alright, let's now cover why the hard job search process is actually a good thing for you. So a lot of beginners right now are complaining that getting an IT job is hard, and it's true. Getting your first job is very hard. But it's not just about the IT market. Getting your first job in almost any industry is like super hard, especially if it's a high-paying remote job that a lot of people are dreaming about. But the fact that getting this job is hard is actually a good thing for you. Let me explain. First of all, because it's hard, you're gonna actually spend way more time learning, and you're gonna become a really good developer. Previously, it was enough to just pass a 3-month boot camp and throw your CV everywhere around the companies, and if you get lucky, you had a chance to get this job. Now, to get a job, you have to actually be a good developer. To be honest, I don't know why for some people it sounds crazy that you have to be a good developer to get a good job. For me, it's super obvious. And because you know that getting an IT job is a hard thing, you're gonna prepare way better and gonna invest way more time in your studies and to actually get good. Because trust me, as soon as you're gonna get a job, you'll have less time and energy and will to actually practice, to learn something new, to get better. Second thing is that hard job search process will force you to learn how to present yourself. And I think I don't have to explain how self-presentation is important nowadays. If you know how to present yourself and if you know how to sell yourself, it will help you like throughout your whole life. not only to get the IT job, but also to build your own business, sell your services, sell your knowledge, or sell your idea to a potential investor. Back then, in 2021, you didn't have to master self-presentation skill to get a job. That's why most of the people weren't spending enough time to actually master that skill. Now you just have to learn how to present yourself to be able to get a job. And yes, it got harder, but because you have to do that now, you're gonna actually do that, and long term, it's gonna benefit your whole life and your whole career. Thirdly, hard job search process will force you to build connections in the industry. Previously, it was just enough to send your CVs everywhere and you were already receiving some of the interviews. Now, to get job interviews, you have to start to build connections. You have to find someone from the company, get in touch with them and ask them to forward your CV or resume to a hiring manager. And I think I don't have to explain how important it is to have connections around the industry. Yes, it's gonna take some time to build those connections and to get to know with people, but once again, long term, it's gonna help you to know more people, and new people can bring new opportunities to your life. Because you never know, maybe some of them gonna get promoted to the tech lead and you're gonna need to hire a new developer to the team. Usually the first thing this person gonna do is that this person gonna go to you because this person knows you, this person trusts you, and this person understands that you are going to be a good hire. And hard job search process forces you to build connections, which are gonna be helpful in your career. Okay, I had to move to another location because in Europe, it's forbidden to film like anywhere. You absolutely cannot film outside because it's private territory. You cannot film there, although it's like public territory. But whatever. All right, the last good thing about hard job search process is because it's gonna force you to actually create good projects. The only way to attract employers and to impress them is to actually create good portfolio projects. Previously, you could have just spent like 1 week to create a simple to-do application and it was enough to get a job. Now, to get a job, you have to build a complex, huge app with a lot of functionalities. Yes, it's gonna take you a couple of months, but once again, it's gonna teach you so many things about how to create good software. And those knowledge gonna serve you your whole career and even gonna give you a chance to build like your own application or your own business in the future because you're gonna know how to do it from scratch already. So, to finalize, in a short-term perspective, the situation is bad. You cannot just go apply for a job tomorrow and get it right away. But in a long-term perspective, now the market is way more selective and only actually good developers can get a job. And by saying good, I don't mean like super geniuses. No, you just have to spend enough time, be dedicated, consistent with your studies, and it's going to be enough to become a good developer. 3 months bootcamp or short YouTube course will not be enough. So long-term thinking takes time. But overall, if you're thinking long-term, you're gonna get so much more benefits in the future. Yes, it's gonna take like 3 to 5 years to get those benefits, but if you're gonna be just thinking like 3 months in the future, you'll not be able to benefit from those long-term gains. And long-term gains are way better than short-term gains. Just look at Warren Buffett. It took him a lot of years to actually become a billionaire, but he managed to become one, and now he is a super successful person. And unfortunately, in this video, I cannot cover all of the deep details on how to become a developer. That's why I created a huge free guide on how to become a remote developer. To get it, just click the link somewhere below in the description, enter your email, and get it for free. See you there. I hope this video helped you to slightly switch the way you think about becoming a developer, and you now know that coding is not enough anymore, but being a good developer is enough. See you in the next one.